how you doing? I'm in the super boo-boo because I gotta take it in to have an oil change and brakes checked, whatever. And it's moan day, and you can tell everybody's ooh, and it's gloomy too. But tomorrow is election day, and that's important. And everyone should vote. And we talk about honoring vets. It's going to be the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I, and really this is Veterans Day, and we talk about honoring vets. So it's the least you can do is show up and vote. And this day and age right now, it really is a case of not only the least you can do, but also of fighting back, being a warrior. This is very critical. We need to establish that our election system and our fundamental institutions in our country are sound, because we are under attack. And people who don't vote, why don't you go somewhere else, please? Really. Seriously, we are under attack. It's either, pitch in or get out. And I'm not just saying like if you don't like it here, go somewhere else. I'm really saying like you're really putting weight on the rest of us in this country. Seriously. So it's time to do your duty. As I cough to death. So yeah. Be a warrior. Vote. You can tell the Russians don't want me. They're making me cough. They don't want me to say this. Anyway, I have a little while before I have to take the car in, so I'm going to get some coffee. Speaking of voting and things that happened 100 years ago, and feeling a little bit of patriotism towards your own homeland and things like that, on the way to get an oil change, I decided to take the U.S. highway all the way. I have a little bit of time to kill. And I was just thinking about it. I was like, I realized I'm on the Victory Highway. US 40, and before it was US 40, briefly coming late to the game of auto trails and auto trail associations, this was called the Victory Highway. I think 1919-ish till 1926. And in many areas, it's still referred to as the Victory Highway. A lot of people go, US 40 Highway, the Victory Highway, and there's some roads with that name and everything. Here in Kansas City, we don't think that much about it. But it's kind of like the forgotten Route 66 for me in many ways. It has all the same architecture, a lot of the same themes. But it was called the Victory Highway after World War I in commemoration of the victory over the Central Powers in Europe, where the Allied powers, or the Entente, won the war with the capitulation of many of the old school emperors and things like that in Europe, and the changing of the world order to a degree. And it was considered to be a victory for democracies all over the world. And, at that time, little did we know that we would have to fight it in about a generation again. But, so anyway, I think it's important to note for a lot of people that this is called the Victory Highway, and the symbol is pretty awesome. It's a doughboy, World War I soldier, in a kind of like a circular crest, and I think there's a V. I don't know, I have to look it up, but it's kind of hard to find. See, the history on it is so almost buried and forgotten that there's hardly any images of it on the internet. There's not that many people talking about it, and I think that's a shame. We should talk about it. I mean, right here there's a biker bar, and inside the bar I know they have a thing that says US 40, and I'd like to go in and say, hey, what about Victory Highway? It's going right past your freaking door. A lot of the imagery that a lot of bikers use is derived directly from the old crests of World War I, the eagles, the V, the Victory, V for V, twin motor. But I don't know, you can't browbeat people about learning their history. You just have to kind of hope that they come to it, I guess. And you can ride US 40 not all the way across the country, but almost all the way, I think. I'm kind of fuzzy on it myself. I haven't thought that much about 40 Highway. Some of the predecessor roads are the National Old Trails Road. Actually kind of runs north of here. But this highway more or less replaced that, and eventually this highway was replaced by I-70. So in many ways, I-70 could be considered the Victory Highway in parts. And so I don't know what much more I could say about it, except that when you travel the back roads, like I like to do, there are places here that are just absolutely beautiful, even in Kansas City. And you don't quite get that or see that on I-70. I mean, for one thing, you're going so fast, you just blow past all the scenery. But the other thing is there's nowhere to stop or turn, But here you can kind of travel at a slower pace and pull off when you see something nice. And, just east of here, I'm heading towards Blue Springs, Missouri. I'm in the southern part of Independence, bordering Lee Summit and Kansas City. But just east of here is an area that's just beautiful, very, nice grades, hillsides, road cuts that are really nice. Just beautiful scenic area. And too many people don't know that because they've never in their lives traveled anything other than the most direct route, just so they can get from their climate controlled car into their climate controlled house and their climate controlled comfortable lives, and not take much time to really stop and see things and think about things. And I think that's very important. But anyway, so I'm starting to ramble and getting boorish and redundant as usual. But up ahead is some of that scenery, and I'll roll on it.